that they were his employer or that a joint employment relationship existed. However, plaintiff makes strong arguments that document upon which the Candy Digital defendants rely is not cognizable on a motion to dismiss. There is allegations of theft and sexual harassment. He's viewing very seriously Justin's claim of extortion. That's what it signals to me. And this, or I will expose this, or I'll go to the New York Times, or I'll go and do this. I'm going to tell everyone about what you did. I'm not going to promote the film. I'm not going to talk to Taylor Swift.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive legal battles currently unfolding in Hollywood. A high-stakes lawsuit involving actor and producer Justin Baldoni and power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. This story has everything: allegations of extortion, claims of sexual misconduct, legal motions flying left and right, and a judge who has decided the courtroom deserves a closer look at it all. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this case is so significant for everyone involved, and potentially for Hollywood at large.
Things like she demanded that she get a cut of the film. She demanded that she get editing right. She just demanded that she use her cut of the film be released. She threatened that if they didn't release her cut according to them, that she wouldn't promote the film.
Let's start with the basics. Justin Baldoni is best known for his role on the hit TV show Jane the Virgin, but he's also a producer and entrepreneur, along with his team. Baldoni co-founded a production company called Wayfarer Studios. On the other side, we have Blake Lively, an actress famous for roles in Gossip Girl, The Age of Adaline, and more, as well as her husband, Ryan Reynolds, a Hollywood A-lister with a long list of hits, including the Deadpool franchise. The conflict centers on allegations that Lively, with support from Reynolds, essentially tried to force Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios into giving her producer credits and other professional benefits through threatening accusations of sexual misconduct. This lawsuit has drawn a great deal of attention, not just because it involves high-profile celebrities, but because the accusations point to potentially industry-shaking issues regarding extortion, defamation, and the abuse of misconduct allegations.
He was looking at, okay, yes, they had a strong case here, and then the plaintiffs responded, and then he says, in response, the Fanatics defendants argue that he has sufficiently alleged an employment relationship and that any defects of his pleading can be cured by amendment. With a strong argument on both sides, defendants' arguments do not supply the requisite substantial grounds for dismissal or under the alternative formation articulated by Judge Gorenstein, and a strong showing that the party moving for the stay is likely to succeed on the merits. So basically that they wouldn't dismiss the case, nor would they stay the discovery. It says, nor have the defendants shown that the breadth of discovery sought justifies a stay of discovery. So as far as like the arguments, he said, yes, you have a good argument for a motion to dismiss, but the plaintiff had an amazing response. And so just because you have a strong argument doesn't mean I'm going to dismiss this claim. And then he also said that just because they've asked for discovery, the amount they've asked for isn't that broad. It's a very narrow window of time, much like what they're seeking in this case, where the window is from August of 2024 till December of 2024, because that's when she says the smear campaign, the alleged one, started. So ultimately he denied.
According to the lawsuit filed by Baldoni, tensions rose during the production of a project at Wayfarer Studios. Blake Lively was reportedly involved in this project. While she was known as an actress, she also wanted a more significant role, behind the scenes allegedly seeking recognition as a producer. Baldoni's side claims that everything took a dark turn when Lively threatened to accuse him, and presumably Wayfarer Studios as a whole, of sexual misconduct and lesser demands were met. These demands included a Producers Guild of America PGA credit, which can be a valuable credential in Hollywood. Lively, for her part, denies any wrongdoing. She insists she never extorted Baldoni or Wayfarer, and that any claims she made about misconduct were sincere concerns, not bargaining chips.
To hold a threat over our heads, and every time we try to hold a line, she uses the threat either directly or indirectly to get us to fold. Make no mistake, I'm not suggesting that we are literally forced to acquiesce, but given the high profile of the movie, the partnership with Sony, the amount of money invested, and
extortion in California has a very clear legal definition. To prove civil extortion, one must show that a threat was made, that there was malicious intent behind it, and that the threat directly aimed to secure some kind of benefit, financial, professional, or otherwise. Baldoni alleges exactly that. According to him, Lively said she would go public with damaging sexual harassment or assault allegations if she didn't receive the credit and benefits she wanted. What makes this so incendiary is that it goes right to the heart of Hollywood. Power dynamics in the #MeToo era, generally. We want individuals with genuine grievances such as harassment or assault to be able to speak out without fear of repercussions. But here, Baldoni's case is flipping that script, suggesting that Lively was using potential #MeToo-like allegations to leverage better deals for herself. If proven true, that would be a major blow to the credibility of anyone who might consider weaponizing misconduct. Allegations for personal gain. Lively, on the other hand, completely rejects the notion that she engaged in extortion. She contends that she contributed legitimate production work that deserved a producing credit, and that the accusations of harassment she raised were based on genuine observations of wrongdoing or poor workplace conduct, not concocted stories. Her legal team frames Baldoni's lawsuit as a cynical attempt to paint a woman raising valid concerns as an extortionist in order to discredit her. Given the serious nature of the lawsuit, Lively's legal team tried to put an end to it quickly by filing a motion to dismiss. A motion to dismiss usually argues that the claims are legally baseless or fail to meet specific legal requirements, hoping the judge will throw the case out before it reaches discovery or trial. However, the judge denied this motion, ruling that Baldoni's claims extortion and defamation, among others, were substantial enough to warrant a full legal examination. This was a monumental win for Baldoni, because it means the court sees at least some merit in his accusations. If the judge had granted the motion to dismiss, the entire case would have ended right there, with Baldoni left with little recourse. Instead, this denial signals to both sides that there's enough meat to the complaint to move it through the legal process. Not only that, but the judge also refused to issue a stay on discovery. A motion to stay discovery essentially halts the evidence-collecting process while the court decides on the motion to dismiss. If Lively and Reynolds had succeeded in staying discovery, they could potentially limit or delay the release of internal emails, text messages, or any other evidence that might be damaging to their side. The judge's refusal means that both parties must move full steam ahead in gathering and sharing evidence. Central to Baldoni's extortion claim is an internal Wayfarer Studios email from June 2024. This email reportedly shows that employees were already worried about Lively's alleged threats well before any countersuit or defamation claims were filed. If authentic, it deals a serious blow to Lively's position that the extortion accusation was invented only after she came forward about misconduct. This email suggests that discussions about Lively's demands and alleged threats have been happening internally, raising concerns that she might use damaging allegations publicly if she didn't receive what she was asking for. For Baldoni, this piece of evidence is crucial if it holds up under scrutiny, and especially if discovery uncovers more evidence. Along the same lines, it could shift the momentum in the case strongly in his favor. However, Lively's team maintains that the email has been taken out of context or misconstrued. Even if it references potential concerns, it doesn't necessarily prove that Lively was the one making threats. It could simply be employees speculating or reacting to rumors. The weight the court ultimately gives this email remains to be seen, but it's shaping up to be a pivotal piece of evidence from Lively's perspective. This lawsuit is a direct form of retaliation for her willingness to call out misconduct. She insists that her concerns were made in good faith and that seeking credit as a producer was part of her legitimate contribution to the project. Her legal team argues that awarding someone a producer credit isn't unusual in Hollywood. Actors and actresses who contribute significantly behind the scenes helping shape a script, developing the story, or overseeing elements of production often receive producer titles. To them, the notion that Lively had to threaten anyone is absurd.
Retaliation case. And because plaintiff was not eligible for such leave at the time he requested it, and based upon that request, his employment was terminated. Defendants' fanatics also make strong arguments that the plaintiff was not sufficiently alleged that they were his employer or that a joint employment relationship existed.
Moreover, they point out that California, as well as many other jurisdictions, offers robust free speech protections and laws preventing retaliatory defamation suits. If Lively's statements about misconduct were made without malicious intent and were part of an effort to protect herself or others, she could be protected under those statutes. Essentially, if she truly believed misconduct was happening, raising that issue should not automatically be labeled extortion. Hollywood has been no stranger to high-profile disputes, especially in the #MeToo era, but this case brings a unique twist if Baldoni's allegations hold up. It raises the question of whether some accusations might be used strategically, rather than solely for justice. Many in the industry worry that if Lively is found guilty of extortion, it could undermine genuine claims of harassment and assault, fueling skepticism about future accusers. On the other hand, if the court sides with Lively, it might deter future lawsuits by companies or individuals trying to silence those who speak out about misconduct. In other words, a legal victory for Lively would send a message that so-called countersuits aimed at discrediting people who raise legitimate workplace concerns won't be taken lightly. Public opinion is just as divided. On social media, fans of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are decrying what they see as an attack on a strong female figure who dared to question powerful men in the industry. Meanwhile, supporters of Baldoni see him as a victim of a manipulative scheme, praising him for standing up against what he says is an attempt to blackmail him and his company. One of the most interesting aspects of this lawsuit is the judge's reference to Robbins versus Candy Digital, another case dealing with alleged threats for financial or professional gain. By citing this case, the judge shows a willingness to look at similar situations in which individuals have used reputational threats as leveraged out in Robbins versus Candy Digital. The court emphasized the need for clear, unequivocal evidence of a direct threat and a transactional exchange, meaning the accused threatened to do X, unless the other party provided Y. The judge in Baldoni's case is signaling that he intends to apply the same scrutiny. If the threat or coercion is vague, implied, or merely a possibility, it might not meet the standard for extortion. This places a significant burden on Baldoni to produce something akin to a smoking gun, an email, a text message, a recorded conversation, something that unmistakably proves that Lively threatened to publicly accuse him unless he gave her the PGA credit and other perks. I've sent that direct link. Baldoni's claims might be considered too weak to stand.
We're preparing ahead of time. They were thinking ahead about this lawsuit. So Blake can't now say that they never thought about it before she sued.
Hey, if Baldoni prevails, reputation damage for Lively and Reynolds, should the court find that Lively did indeed engage in extortion, the fallout for her career could be severe. Hollywood tends to shy away from individuals perceived as litigious or manipulative. Financial damages, Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios could be awarded monetary compensation if they prove that they suffered professionally or reputationally due to Lively's alleged actions. Legal precedent, a confirmed extortion case in a high-profile scenario could ripple throughout Hollywood, making studios and individuals more cautious about how they handle allegations of misconduct and negotiations. B. If Lively prevails, strengthened protections for accusers, a victory for Lively could reinforce the idea that speaking out even forcefully about harassment shouldn't be turned around as a weapon by the accused. Backlash against Baldoni. If the lawsuit is deemed frivolous or retaliatory, Baldoni could be painted as someone trying to silence a woman who was addressing legitimate concerns, risking his own reputation. Industry impact. Studios and actors might feel emboldened to raise misconduct issues without fear of being slapped with an extortion or defamation lawsuit. With the denial of the motion to stay discovery, both parties are now compelled to disclose potentially sensitive information. Discovery can involve emails, text messages, call logs, contracts, financial records, pretty much anything relevant to the case for Lively and Reynolds. This is the nightmare scenario if they're concerned about certain internal communications becoming public. For Baldoni, it's an opportunity to bolster his claims. If he can show a trail of messages or memos indicating that Lively specifically threatened to accuse him of misconduct unless she received credit, his case becomes far more convincing. Conversely, if Lively's communications demonstrate that she was genuinely concerned about workplace problems and never directly threatened Baldoni, her defense gains credibility. The judge has also indicated he won't accept broad claims of irrelevance to avoid producing evidence. Both sides will have to be precise in their arguments about what is, or isn't, pertinent to the extortion allegation. It's a critical moment that could shape the entire trial. Considering all of these angles, it's clear that this case is nowhere near its conclusion. The judge's decision to let the lawsuit proceed suggests a willingness to sift through large amounts of evidence, hear testimony from multiple witnesses, and examine every piece of communication related to the alleged extortion. Neither side seems poised to back down. Baldoni, with a major victory in hand, the denial of the motion to dismiss, appears confident that he can prove his accusations. Lively, standing by her version of events, is likely prepared to fight tooth and nail to clear her name and prove that her actions were rooted in legitimate concerns, not coercion. Adding to the complexity is the presence of Ryan Reynolds, who has his own career and public image to consider. While the lawsuit is technically against Lively and Reynolds, much of the focus falls on Lively's alleged demands and threats. Nevertheless, Reynolds' involvement and potential knowledge of these alleged threats keep him squarely in the public eye and possibly the legal spotlight. In a world where every new Hollywood scandal is dissected on social media, this legal battle stands out for its potential to create lasting changes in how the entertainment industry handles allegations of misconduct. On one side, we have Justin Baldoni, claiming he's been the target of a career-threatening extortion plot. On the other, Blake Lively insists she was only asking for well-deserved recognition, all while pointing out genuine issues she'd witnessed, and denies ever leveraging false allegations for personal gain. The judge's refusal to dismiss the case and to stay discovery has created a legal situation where all parties must reveal their evidence. Emails, text chains, internal memos, and witness testimonies will be critical pieces of the puzzle. If a clear pattern of threats emerges, Lively could face severe consequences in terms of both public image and financial liability. If the evidence suggests Lively's claims were genuine and not manipulative, then Baldoni may find himself accused of misusing the courts to silence a woman who spoke up. Hollywood thrives on drama, But this is more than a typical celebrity spat. It's a legal battle that touches on issues of extortion, defamation, the hashtag #MeToo movement, and the balance of power in the entertainment industry. Whichever way it goes, the outcome will almost certainly resonate beyond the lives of the individuals. In the courtroom, it could either deter future accusers from coming forward out of fear of retaliatory lawsuits, or it could reaffirm that attempts to weaponize false allegations for personal gain won't go unchallenged. For now, we'll have to wait and see what the discovery process unveils. One thing is certain, though, this is a case that people will be talking about for a long time to come. We'll continue to follow the developments and bring you the latest updates as they happen. Until then, let me know in the comments what you think. Is Baldoni doing the right thing by calling out what he says is extortion? Or do you believe Lively when she insists she's being targeted for speaking up about misconduct? Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into Hollywood scandals, and share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for future updates on this unfolding legal showdown.